this recording later. And that way you can kind of keep up with what's going on, what's happening. And of course, you can always call, text, or email me at any time. So with the buyer consultation and social distancing, kind of like I was talking about the listing presentation earlier today. If you guys were on for that, it was super cool. If not, it was recorded. The buyer presentation is going to be pretty similar. And the main thing that we're focusing on is that it's going to be like this. So typically when I'm talking to buyers on the phone or in person, you know, if I met them at an open house or a networking event, my goal is to not talk about work, but instead is to schedule an appointment and actually have a meeting with them as a buyer consultation. So what that looks like is, as you're talking to folks, whether it's on Facebook or anywhere you're out there social distancing and getting leads, your goal is to get an appointment. And that's what we're going to be covering today. So in order to do a meet like this, all you have to do is go into your calendar and click whatever date and time. And when you're in there, you're going to see a button that you can click that says create like conferencing or add conferencing. And Google will automatically create a link that can be opened on, if you look at Gregory's screen, on a non-iPhone, or if you look at Philip's screen on a computer. You just click the link, doesn't matter. With the buyer consultation, they can be at a computer, they can be on their phone, it doesn't really matter. What you want to focus on is that both parties or all parties, whoever's buying it or the decision makers, are going to be there. You might have one person who's buying it, but two people are the decision maker. So you want to make sure you have both parties there. All parties, sorry. And of course, since you are on camera, you do want to make sure that you dress the part as well. With sellers, this is going to be, obviously you want to dress up a little bit nice. With sellers, with buyers, you can be a little bit more casual as well. So keep that in mind. But you want to make sure that it is a little bit more interactive, and letting them know that, hey, you are going to be giving them some homework, and there's going to be some things to do and different things that we're going to be talking about. So I typically start off my buyer consultations with a little rapport building and kind of asking them how they're doing, what's been going on. So in order to have the most fun in this class and to get the most out of it, I'm going to ask for a volunteer. All right, Monique, let's have fun with this. You can take yourself off mute and jump on in. All right. Can you hear me now, Monique? We're good? I don't know. I can't hear you. Is it maybe your headset? Oh, I can't hear Monique. So who's our second volunteer? Philip. All right. Philip Eubank, everybody. Welcome to the stage. Can I hear you?
Thank you.
Okay, good. I can hear you. Good. So, Philip, how you doing today? How are things going? How's your mom and them?
Doing good. Family is fine. No symptoms with anybody. Feel very blessed.
Great. Good. And nobody in your family's got any worries right now? They're doing all right?
Yeah, I think everybody's okay. Yeah, I think everybody's all right.
Okay. How's work going with all this?
Well, it's going good. Busier than I was last year, which is really exciting. Working from home, it's a challenge, but just rolling with it, you know, trying to stay positive. And I think my hardest thing is being on schedule, but getting a little better at it each day.
Yeah, understandable. Okay. Well, I'd like to go ahead and get our process started. Can I ask you, how much time do we have together today?
I think we have about 9 minutes, 9 to 10.
9 minutes? Okay, great. We'll go ahead and jump right into it. It's going to take longer than 9 minutes.
Okay.
So, I hope you're ready for that. Cool. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. So what I want to do is I want to start off by sharing with you guys a packet of information that I've put together for you. And what I'm going to do is I'll email it over to you guys so you can kind of review it after we've kind of talked, and it'll go through a lot of the things that we've already discussed. But what I've also included in there is what a purchase agreement is going to look like. So that way you guys can kind of read through and get comfortable with it. Because when we do move forward on this process, you're going to want to make sure that you already know and you've seen one before, so you're cool with that. I've also put in there some different disclosures and addendums and such that typically come along with the purchase agreement. And we'll go forward from there. So then that way, if you have any questions, you already have everything that you need to be prepared. Fair enough?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Well, Philip, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask a couple questions just to kind of see where we're at. So where is it that you're living now?
Right now, I live in Lakeview.
Lakeview. Okay. And Philip, if you don't mind, I'm going to take some notes while you're talking, okay?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay, great. So you live in Lakeview. Do you own your current home?
I'm renting right now.
You're renting right now. Okay, great. And about how long have you lived there?
My wife and I, we've been living here for 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, 2 years. Great. Well, let me ask you this. I know that this is going to be your first home purchase. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And do you kind of have an idea of how the process works already?
Well, it's my first time. I don't really know that much about it. I've seen some stuff online, but I don't know everything.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to be able to cover all of that. And of course, like I said, in that to be you guys, that should definitely help clarify some of the steps along the way. So are you familiar with how real estate works here in New Orleans?
Well, is it different than anywhere else?
I would like to think so. There's some different steps that we go through here. And so I just wanted to make sure that along the way, if you do have any questions, you know that you can reach out to me and I'll be here to help you.
Okay, great.
So I know that you said that you're not 100% sure on how this whole process works, and we'll get to that. But let me ask you this. If in your mind, you could wave a magic wand and have this whole home purchase go just the way you want it, what would that look like?
I mean, I guess it would be my wife and I looking at a couple of houses, picking one that we liked, going to look at it with you, putting an offer on it, getting accepted, and buying the house.
Okay, yeah, that's basically how the whole thing goes. Pretty easy. Now, our goal is to help you find the right home, and at the same time, make sure that you don't miss anything or pay too much. So we have something that's called the funnel process. Okay, let me explain how that whole thing works. So pardon me for 1 second while I flip this little thingy on. Okay. Well, then I just got a text. Somebody's trying to join us. Okay. Let me present this window. Maybe not. I guess I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was going to be to have this this document camera up and running. Okay. Now I can share it with you guys. Okay, Philip, can you see that? A blank piece of paper?
I can see a blank piece of paper. Yes.
Perfect. It's going to be blank for right now, but we're going to be working on it and filling it all out.
Perfect.
Okay. So we have a process called the funnel process. And what we'll do is this is going to help us accomplish the goals of making sure that you don't miss anything, you don't pay too much. Would you like to see how it works for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So what we're going to do is we have a funnel. Now, I'm not the best artist, which is why I sell real estate. Okay, kind of looks like a funnel, huh? And oh, my boss is trying to FaceTime me. Decline. So let's get started with what do you have so far? Have you found a list of homes or anything that you're interested in?
I've seen some stuff on Zillow and Realtor.com that looked really cool.
Okay, great. And we'll go ahead and we'll start with that. So we'll have your properties and we'll put those in the funnel. Great. Now, what I'm going to be doing for you is I'm going to be setting up a custom web portal for you. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to interact back and forth, and I can actually be sending you properties through there. That's going to be through what's called the MLS. So we're going to put those properties into there as well. Okay.
Okay.
Have you heard of Zillow?
Yes. Yeah, we love Zillow.
Yeah, good. Okay, so Zillow has a lot of properties on there too. I'll tell you what, Zillow is actually fed by the MLS, but we'll go ahead and just put those in there as well. Now, have you guys thought about new construction at all?
Yeah, I think new construction would be fine. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I love that idea.
great. So we'll put down new construction. Okay. Now, while you guys are out driving around, you might see some open houses that are happening. And I would say, yeah, go right ahead and check those out. If you want, you can call me and I can meet you there as well. But open houses are a great way to find new properties as well. So we're going to put those down.
Okay.
Okay. Now, while you're out there, you might actually end up seeing properties that are for sale by owner. Okay. So a for sale by owner. And we can put those into there too. Now with the for sale by owner, you can choose to work directly with the owner if you'd like, and that's fine. Or you can bring them to me and I can actually work on your behalf to ensure that you're obviously not paying too much, but at the same time that you get the full representation that you would want out of me. Was that fair enough?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sure.
Okay, good. So we're gonna put all of these properties into there. Hey, oh, sorry, I thought we had a question. So we're going to be putting all these properties into here. And what we're going to be doing is this funnel is going to help us eliminate those thousands of properties and really start to narrow it down. So we'll narrow it down from thousands to hundreds to dozens. And what will happen is we'll look at some of these online and decide if we like them or not and cross them up from there. Some of them you can drive by and check them out, see what you think. We'll cross more off from there. And then some of them you might actually make an appointment to preview the inside of. And the whole thing is that you guys are in control of the decision and I'll be in control of the process. Fair enough?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Great. Now what's going to happen is we start to eliminate these properties. What's going to happen is we're going to start to get down to our top 3. Now, with our top 3, that doesn't mean that you have to pick 3 properties. It just means that we're going to have a rolling top 3. So we're going to have 3 properties that we really like the best. And then what we'll do from there is if we do see another property that you like better, well, then we're going to remove one of those from the top 3 and replace it with the new better property that we like. Okay?
Okay, sure. That makes sense.
So this is going to be a rolling. I should have tried this marker before I started using it. It's horrible. And what this process is going to do by putting all these properties in here, like I said, it's going to make sure that we don't miss anything. And with our rolling top 3, once we have those picked out, what I'm going to do for you is what's called a CMA. So that's a comparative market analysis. A comparative market analysis is going to ensure that the property price that they're asking is in line with the market is actually commanding. Because really what we want to make sure we're not doing is we don't want to pay too much. And that's what a CMA is going to do for us, okay?
Okay, sure. Yeah, because I certainly don't want to pay too much.
Yeah. So does this process look like it'll work for you?
Yeah, that looks pretty easy. So if I see something that's like a for sale by owner in the neighborhood that I like, I can just give you a call and tell you about it.
Yeah, just call me and I'll go ahead and I can reach out to them for you. And then that way we can get in there and check the property out. Fair enough?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, great.
So now that we kind of understand about how the search process is going to go, um, I want to ask just for fun, give me an idea of where you are in the process, like on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you're just starting the process today, and 10 being where you want to be able to find a property today. Where would you rate yourself?
Well, I think I'd say a three because my wife and I have been to a bunch of open houses, and
Mm-hmm.
some different agents have shown us some different homes. So, I think we're pretty in it, but we haven't really got this far into it, but we've seen a lot of properties. So I think so I'd say a three.
A 3. Okay, fair enough. Now, um, Philip, let me ask you this: what would have to happen for that to be a 10?
Um, Man, I mean, I think we're ready to get to that point. But I think I'd have to know just a little bit more about how everything works and what all my wife and I need to do to get ready to buy the house.
Mm-hmm.
And just really what to expect. And I just want to make sure I got everything clear with
Okay,
the
fair
landlord.
enough. So, with you say knowing what to expect, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, this is our first time buying a house, so I don't know. The word appraisal that seems kind of scary to me. I don't really know what that
Mm-hmm.
means, and my brother told me something about inspections and talking about just different parts of the process. So I feel like I should kind of know what those things are, but I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited. It just seems a little overwhelming. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. What is the most overwhelming part of it for you?
Well, I guess just the unknowing, but of what to expect. But
Mhm.
I think it's just going to be about the stuff with the banks because, like I said, I've never really worked with a bank other than my checking account and my
Yeah.
savings account. So I'm a little overwhelmed by how all that works and getting a house through that process.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to help you out with that, and make sure that all of your needs are addressed and you're comfortable with the property that you're going to be purchasing. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Um, so this next fun part, I've never done virtual, but I think we could give it a shot. So if Philip did have his wife there with him, what I'd ask him to do is have them have a piece of paper and a pen ready. And if it's all right with you, I'd like each of you to make your own list on the things that you want in a home. And I want to make sure that they're doing their own list. So Philip is going to have his own list, and his girlfriend, Diamond, she's going to have her own list. And I want to make sure that they're doing their own. And if I see them kind of chatting back and forth, and that's why I'm going to say, hey, I know this is fun. I know you guys want to work together, but this works best when you do your own list, and then we can compare. Fair enough?
Okay, yeah, that makes
Sure.
sense.
So now, after you've made your list, put a star behind the 3 things you can't live without.
Okay.
And Phil, could you share those with me? What are the 3 things that you really need?
Three things for me is a backyard, because we got the dog, so a big backyard is really important. I'd really like a modern kitchen, and to have at least 2 full bathrooms. Because right now we're in a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom shotgun.
Okay. So you and your girlfriend Diamond agree that you need a big backyard for your dog, a modern kitchen, and at least 2 full bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms. Fair enough?
That's right.
Okay, great. When you say big backyard, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Oh, well, I mean, I just would like to have a little space a little bit bigger space for the dog to run around.
Hmm.
I'd love a space for me to have a barbecue grill, and Diamond just loves gardening, so I'd love for her to have that space.
Okay, great. Um, Now, when you say bigger than your backyard that you have now, what size is your backyard? How big is that?
Oh, it's a shoebox. It's just a
A
piece of
shoebox.
yeah, it's nothing. It's just a piece of pavement.
Okay. And when you say modern kitchen, are you talking about mid-century modern or modern, neoclassical modern? What do you have
Well,
in mind?
yeah, I don't know if I know all the different definitions, Adam. I guess when you think about it, but I'd love to have one of those little spouts where I could fill up my pot right there up above the stove. I'd love to have an island that has its own sink,
Uh-huh.
and I'd love just to have some white cabinets and just and just gas, everything to be gas, natural.
Mhm. Yeah. So when you say you want modern, but then you tell me you want white cabinets, so do you want modern?
Oh, is white cabinets not modern?
Yeah. You got to have some fun. Okay. So we definitely got that. Now, Philip, let me ask you this. Have you ever known somebody who has built their own house, like custom built?
No, I don't know anybody that has it like that.
Okay. I've had some of my friends that have done that, and it's so funny because every time when they're done building their property, they'll say, "Hey, come on over, check it out. You're gonna absolutely love it." And we're walking through, and they're like, "Oh, well, this is this, and that is that," and then they'll stop for a minute and they're like, "Well, so when we do this next time, this is what we're going to do differently. And when we do it next time, we're going to change that a little bit." So even in custom homes that people have built themselves, they're still wanting to change things a little bit. So the idea of having that 100% match, even in a custom home, it's still just not happening. So what I want to do is I have this idea of like an 85% perfect home. Okay. So what that means is that if there's a home that matches your criteria 85%, I'm going to ask you to consider it. Okay?
Okay, I suppose that's fair.
Okay, cool. Well, we can definitely do that. Now, with this property, I'm guessing you're going to be wanting to get a loan instead of paying cash because you did ask about working with banks and stuff like that. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're
Okay.
going to need to be financed.
Okay, great. Well, what I'm going to do is I have James. He's a lender with NOLA Lending. He's really great, and he can kind of help answer some of those questions for you. I'm going to text him a link to our meeting so he can join us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually leave the meeting while you guys talk about financials. So then that way I can get started on pulling up some of the properties on the MLS. And then once I have those, he'll text me and let me know, and then I'll jump back into the meeting. Okay?
Okay, well, I just had a question for you, Adam. I mean,
Yeah.
shouldn't we find the house first before I talk with the bank? Like, I kind of feel like we're, going the wrong direction, right? I don't even know which house we want yet.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. So the reason that we talk with a lender first is I remember the first time I went to go look at a Ferrari and I was like, man, this is great. I think I could do this. And then I found out that no, I couldn't do it because they don't do 30-year financing on a car like that. And when I got down to the table, I realized there's no possible way that I can afford this car that I literally fell in love with. It was so depressing that instead of buying a car, I bought a bus pass because I was like, I just don't want to deal with anything else. I don't want that same thing to happen to you. So this is what we're going to do. And it's very non-committal. Really what he's doing is getting some high-level information from you on the financial side just to kind of see where you guys could kind of qualify for in a property if we were to move forward and find that right place. Because once you've spoken with the lender and they've helped give you an idea of how much you can actually afford, they're going to provide you with what's called a pre-qualification letter. And what that simply says is that you've talked to a lender, you know how much you can afford and what you can qualify for. Now we just have to find that right property. And having that pre-qualification letter essentially turns your offer into a cash offer because they know you actually have the money to back it up. Make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. I get that now. Okay, so I should talk to the lender first. Okay.
Yeah. So talking with James, he's just going to kind of ask you some questions, kind of feel you out from a financial standpoint, just to make sure that we're not pushing you into a house that you can't afford, but at the same time, we're not getting you a double wide trailer or a van down by the river because you could actually afford more than that. So we want to find that perfect fit that makes everybody happy. Okay?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to James.
Okay. So we'll pause for a minute. That's the first little part of it. How does everybody feel? Do you have any questions, comments, concerns?
I really like the idea of having your lender on hand and having, so you want to have him prepared, ready to go, and then send him the Google Hangout link and say,
Yeah.
okay, hey, click. That's awesome. Yeah, and then you get out. So are you just looking for properties? You don't know what the price tag is though, or the cost amount is, right? So you're just kind of waiting for something from James, or
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for him. I'm
okay,
not really doing anything.
okay,
And really what the point of that is just to kind of discuss with them a little bit, explain some process to them, and then get them started and kind of moving
yeah,
forward from there. Um, yeah. And then once they've done that, then obviously he's going to take a little bit of time to talk with them, and he probably won't be able in that second be able to tell them how much they can afford, but he should be able to at least get pretty close and give them an idea. If not, depending upon their situation, it might take a day or so, but he can kind of move forward from there. But once they're done talking to them, then yeah, I'll jump back into the meeting because you can join and leave the meeting as much as you want. If you join, obviously they'll see you on the side and see you there. During the financial part, you can just leave that up to him and then move forward from there. Okay?
yeah, that's great.
Um, so when I jump back on, obviously I'll ask him, hey, how did it go with James? Any questions, comments, concerns on that? And then what I want to do is start to get everything set up and say, okay, we're going to start this process of sending properties back and forth to each other and starting to narrow them down. Obviously, the things that you see online, or you can use, and then explaining how to use my app and making sure they have that, and telling them that you can go to my website because that's going to have everything on there. That's where the portal is going to be. And I want to have kind of like the perfect property scenario discussion with them and say, when we find it, the perfect property for you, what would you do?
I mean, I think I'd want to put an offer on it.
Okay. And you'd be comfortable with making an offer on that perfect property right away?
Yeah, I mean, if it's the perfect property, it's the perfect property, right? Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, great. So this is what we're going to do with when you do get down to showings. I kind of tell them a little bit about their odds. So the odds of finding your property the first time we go out to tour, there's a 60% chance that you'll find your property that first time. The second time, then there's a 50% chance of the remaining properties that they'll find their perfect home. And out of those two times, Yeah, sometimes you might have to go a third time. If you're having to go a third time, it's that remaining 20% that they just have issues. I'm sure you've heard of people like that before. So it's our goal to make sure that we're finding the perfect property for you within the first 1 or 2 tours out. And we'll usually have about 3 or 4 properties to choose from. Now, with property tours right now, that's where it gets fun. So with vacant properties, it should be pretty much okay for you guys to go out there and do that. The way that I would do it is talk to them on the phone and let them know, hey, before we go and view properties, what's going to happen is I'll get out, I'll get the key out of the super box and unlock the door, turn all the lights on for you guys. And then when I come out, you guys can come on in, walk through, check out the whole thing. And then when you're done, you can go back to your car. I'll go back to the house, turn everything off, and lock it up. So on a vacant property, you can do that. Or if you're comfortable, you can go hang out with them. Just stay 6 feet away. So on a vacant property. On a property that's occupied, then I would say, once again, do something like this. So the way that this would look like is, as you can see on here on the side, I can't see anybody's email address or phone number or any kind of information. I can just see their name and face. So what I would do is I would talk to the listing agent and say, this is what we're going to do, is called a Google Hangout. And it will allow your sellers to show their home to my buyers. So you'll be on the Google Hangout. The listing agent will be on the Google Hangout. Your buyers will be on there, and the sellers will be on there. And essentially, it's the sellers that are showing the property through their phone as they walk around to the buyers, and the buyers can ask them questions directly. Say, wait, can you go back? Oh, let's look at this. Oh, let's check this out. So it's a little bit more involved with more people happening, but it should be fairly easy and straightforward as long as you're able to explain the process to the listing agent. Then everything should be okay. Does that make sense? Any questions around that so far?
I don't have any questions. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I really like it.
Okay. Now, the other thing is, and I did make sure to get an okay before I said this, but I actually had a property once that I had sold to a couple in Nashville. They wanted to buy a condo in Rosemary Beach. It was listed right at around $862,000, and they were paying cash. The only contingency was that they were going to do an inspection, and the other contingency was a viewing contingency. So after the inspection came back, everything was good to go. It was a condo, so didn't expect much anyway. And the last contingency that they had to do was preview the property. So it was actually 2 weeks before closing. They flew down, walked through the condo, signed off that they like it, jumped back on a plane and left and closed. So it is possible that if you have a listing agent or a seller who doesn't want to meet, who doesn't want to show their property, or people, or you don't want to go show anybody something, or they don't want to go and see it, whatever it is, there are still ways out there to actually write a purchase agreement on a property and still have that viewing contingency without seeing it first. So 2 weeks from now, when maybe this all goes away, we would have found some way to be able to get them into the property, check it out, remove that contingency, and keep moving forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Great. Now, with the buyer consultation, I definitely recommend doing it like this, through a video conference. You can do it through here, you can do it through Zoom, you can do it through FaceTime on your iPhone, whatever it is. I think you're going to get a better connection with people. And not only that, but being able to kind of show them this process, which with that, you can actually do it through, if you had a PowerPoint presentation, because for the most part, it's all going to be the same stuff. Even if I was going through and I said, well, what about new construction? Have you thought of that? and they say, no, we're not interested in new construction, and you don't put it down, and they're walking around one day and see a new construction home and talk to the agent there on duty and end up buying a new construction home. It'll happen. So even if they say they're not interested in new construction, I'm still going to bring it up. And I'll say, well, we'll keep it on the list just in case. Obviously, we can eliminate any of the new properties that are out there, but we'll see what's out there and just kind of move forward from there. So even if you did do a PowerPoint presentation of that, it's still going to be all the same stuff. But really what you're doing is kind of establishing yourself as the professional and actually taking time out of your day to literally consult with them and show them this process. Because the majority of other agents aren't doing that. They're just saying, oh, you're looking to buy? Jump in my car, let's go. And then they find their property that they fell in love with for $3.5 million. And then they go talk to James, their lender, and find out that, okay, well, they qualify, but for a zero less than that. And kind of get frustrated and go, you know what, we're just going to rent. So what this process is going to do is kind of help eliminate a lot of that. Cool?
Cool. Adam, I have a question for you. So when I've done some buyer's consultations, and I think I've kind of exhausted them a little bit because I talked to them about the inspection process and the appraisal process, and title process. Do you recommend just not going over all that at the moment and just kind of waiting for that to come up later?
I like for that to come up later. So after we previewed a house, then that's when I start to get into it a little bit more and say, okay, so this is what things are going to look like. And then start to dig in a little bit more. And then also in your app, you have the guides that guide them through the process. And if they have the app, you can tell about the guide, and that will kind of help explain a little bit as well.
Okay.
But I try not to get too crazy up front, but I am going to be emailing them a buyer consultation package, which you guys can actually do in KW Command. Let me share that with you. Hold on, let me find it first. So what I did was I just grabbed a couple pages from KW Designs and then put them together into a quick PDF without editing it at all. So let me see where that is, right here. So it'll have the first page, the guide to home ownership, and then it talks a little bit about obviously your app, and all of this stuff in here you can change. And this is actually just a few of the pages that are available. There's actually a lot more information that is available that you can put in here. And so it's completely up to you on what you'd like to do. Cool?
Awesome.
And so with that buyer consultation package, I'll make sure I'll email that to them. And once again, I'm including a purchase agreement, the agency disclosure, a lead-based paint addendum, any kind of other addendums and things that they're going to need. I'm going to make sure that I'm including all of that information in there.
Along with the buyer's representation agreement?
Yeah.
Okay.
And in that, I'll talk to them about that as well. So with the buyer representation agreement, it's just obviously straightforward, but any questions I have about it, I typically say, you know, this is the way that I look at the buyer representation agreement. This is just saying that we agree to work with each other. It means that I can act as your fiduciary to go out there and negotiate on your behalf for these properties. Think of it more of like we're dating. So we're not married to each other. We're just going steady. And at any time, if you don't like any of the services that I'm providing for you and you feel like I'm just not doing my job, that's fine, understandable. All you have to do is give me a call, text, or email that says, hey, you know what, Philip, I've really enjoyed it, but let's part ways as friends. No harm, no foul. And then go forward from there. If they're really hesitant, then what I say is let's do this, okay? Let's just work together for 48 hours, okay? And then from there, we can decide if we want to work together and move forward. If we do decide that's what we want to do, then great, we'll go and find you that 85% perfect property. If we decide at the end of 48 hours that we don't want to work together, well, then that's fine. We'll terminate the agreement and we'll part ways as friends. Fair enough?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Great. Well, let's go ahead and do that. So, any kind of questions from anybody in the group or from Philip or anyone?
I think another aha for me is the funnel. You had showed me that before,
Mhm.
and I'm totally gonna use that because I think that that'll happen is I'll be working with a buyer and they'll start going to calling other agents.
Mhm.
And so I think by like showing them that graphic and saying, "Hey, we're working together. We're a team. You see something that you like, you contact me, and I'll give you all the information on that." Like I think that really knocks that out.
Yeah. And I obviously I talked to Philip about this once before, but I actually would use this for leases as well, because those renters, they're renegades, and they're just all over the place. So I think having a buyer consultation similar to this with leasors, renters, is a good idea because it really starts to pull them in and let them know that, hey, you can do all of this. And the great thing about now is they can't really, just be running around all over the place because we're on lockdown. So you can help them with a lot of the tools and resources that you have to be able to do some of those video tours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Great. Well, if there are questions, then I guess we're good to go. You guys have a wonderful Friday, and I will see you later.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah,
You're welcome. Talk to you guys later.
Adam, thank you. MJ Sauer left. Gregory Borden left. I don't know how I leave. Can you help me get out of here?